And now I'd like to bring up Carson Keeble with the trombone and the white jacket.
So I'm going to play a piece by a man named Udell. He's a person I met in Eugene, Oregon, where I live now. He teaches at University of Oregon. He's both a computer engineer and a composer, and he's started to design his own software where you can collaborate with a musical instrument. The piece is called Brass Alchemist, and I just wanted to read a quick little synopsis of kind of what the idea or where its inception came from, written by Chet. He says, "This piece was commissioned on the condition that the work needed to explore the four elements. So my mind went immediately to alchemy and its aspirations to ritualize, transform, and experiment. The trombonist acts as the alchemist," hence the lab coat, "who, through ritual, play, and gesture, conjures up various forms of two diametrically opposed elements, fire and water, in the form of ice." The piece does have a few different sections, which I'll briefly outline. I don't think they're probably in the program. It kind of begins with a meditation where I'm playing just into the piano. You'll hear a nice effect coming with sympathetic vibrations from the piano. After that is kind of the first formal section called Dance and Incantation. And this is kind of a conjuring of fire, and you'll hear a kind of a wild dance coming from trombone with the tape accompaniment. I say tape, but of course it's not a tape anymore. It's recording, so digital recording accompaniment. And that's followed by Incantation, which you'll is kind of a little bit of a Hollywood kind of, you'll be able to, I think, imagine the incantation part. After that is Walking on Thin Ice, and this is preceded by a little solo by the recording, which kind of changed the texture. You'll hear it kind of becoming icier, and then I come in as a soloist on top of that, playing the kind of awkward rhythms, and you can kind of imagine walking on thin ice. It all kind of comes to a head at what's called the teapot centerpiece, and that's where I get kind of absorbed into the experiment itself. I no longer am the soloist. I'll be doing some extended techniques, which you'll see, some gurgling through the trombone, some different kinds of things. It won't be so clear that I'm a trombonist at this point, but I kind of become a part of the texture in the actual piece. And the idea here is, at the end, there's this whistling technique I do through the trombone, which I'd never seen before until Chet showed me how to do it. And the idea is it's a teapot that's boiling over, and the four elements come together here. You have the brass, or the metal of the teapot representing earth. You have the fire, which we already talked about, heating the teapot, the water inside of the teapot turning into gas, which represents air. And then after that is the final dance. I kind of become the soloist again, recap some of the earlier material. And finally, I found a kind of a quick little definition of alchemy online a few minutes ago that I thought would kind of maybe put you in the right spirit for the piece. Alchemy is the art of liberating parts of the cosmos from temporal existence and achieving perfection, which for metals is gold, and for man, longevity, then immortality, and finally redemption. Thank you.
Just real quickly, so a lot of the things that happen in this piece are very quiet. So especially at the beginning when he's playing into the piano, it's an amazing effect. Listen really carefully. What comes back out of the piano doesn't sound like a piano. It actually sounds like a trombone. And the reason is because any musical sound and most sounds we hear around us are actually many more sounds than we perceive. And so if a trombone plays a note, just like any musical instrument, it's actually a chord, but we only hear the lowest note. The piano picks up all of the notes in his sound, and so what we hear back sounds like a trombone. So I think if we really key in on that in the beginning, it'll get us in the right mental space to receive all this really complex sounds.